With us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. And of course, the Nation newspaper has as the banner headline, Lokbobri, Wike others, okay, Diri's exit from PDP. Deputy Governor yet to decide. Dixon or big kick. PDP state chairmanship endorse convention. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Obi, Atiku's 2027 bids wobble as defections internal strife rock Labour Party and the PDP. This Nigeria, Diri digs PDP grave deeper. Diri digs PDP grave deeper, heads for ruling party. Those who criticize me are now in APC. That's according to Wike throwing jobs. Bayelsa governor is on his second term. Why is he defecting? Quizzed Dixon. Leadership newspaper. Reactions as two People's Democratic Party governors defect within 48 hours. And if you look at the Punch newspaper is also following suit with the kicker, Hurricane Tinubu, and the headline, mass defections ignite one-party state fears. The riders read, Atiku Obi kick as Tinubu tightens grip on South with governor's defections. APC awaits Diri, Oti, Kefas, Muftswang. Moving on to the next paper is the Hope newspaper, which usually, looks towards human angle stories, but this time around is also forced to join the bandwagon, saying Enugu, Bayelsa governors Costa dump PDP for APC. That's, giving us the vibe how significant these moves have been in the politics of things in Nigeria. The Daily Times, nobody can capture Southeast with defection. That's according to Peter Obi. Next is Blueprint newspaper. As Taraba's Kefas warms up. Wow. Diri's resignation depletes PDP governors rank to 8. And then the next is Nigerian News Direct, reminding us that there is still politics. There is economy somewhere in Nigeria. Inflation rate eases to 18.02% in September as CPPE warns cost of living crisis remains acute despite drop. Daily Trust newspaper. Fuel price climbs to 1,000 naira as queues resurface. And last but not least, Arokodare confesses Osimhen out of this world. Wolves FC striker praises hat-trick hero. You can't say something good. You can't close your eyes to something good. But then we'll get to that place. But let's continue with our early conversation, which has to do with the newspapers forcibly, some of them grudgingly, having to report that, there is, this gale of defections, affecting the erstwhile ruling party, talking about PDP, and then the Labour Party, the ADC, they are, kicking. So, Lokbobri, Wike, others, okay, Diri's exit from PDP. So, we're having 24 governors in APC already, might be 25 if Diri announces where he's moving to, and then now PDP has been depleted to 8. Is huge.
It is very huge, especially in the South. Pitamba, Southeast, Diri, South-South, So it is really huge. Now APC, nobody can accuse APC of being a regional party. Nobody can say it is a Southwest and a Northern party. Nobody can say that because right now it really has a national spread. And as it is right now, without further defections, it is very clear that APC will win the elections when it comes in 2027 because of the way it looks.
Is that what your crystal ball tells you?
That's what my crystal... And look, man, everybody is going there. And they are not just going there, they are taking their structures along.
But then Peter Obi will definitely disagree with you because he said that the fact that all the governors are defecting doesn't mean that the governors are just one out of the many peoples of different states. So people are the one to decide who wins the ballot come 2027. So he's not even against it, but he's saying, we are not jittery.
Let me just put it in there. Look, one governor, for example, he takes the whole House of Assembly along with him. Every member of the House of Assembly has his structures in his local government or wherever. Even the governor himself has his structures too. And you know what we call structures? Structures are people.
Yeah.
So if it is one governor that moves, it's not one person that moves.
Etoma, there are so many people on the internet, on Twitter, on Instagram, who are fiercely supporting Obi, who is still much more of a formidable opposition, in the scheme of things. So they will definitely leave Twitter and come and vote. Won't they?
Well, some of them are just keypad warriors. We know that. But then again, Obi will say anything. We said it yesterday that even when you are drowning, sometimes you do not realize that you're drowning because politicians are very optimistic.
Yeah.
But now let's look at it. Let's put it on the optimistic. Let's put it on the ground. PDP having 8 governors, to be realistic, is not the very best. It's not really good for them. And just not even apart from that, we also see a lot of things that are happening in their house. They are still even having internal issues within them. The fear is that more people are going to defect. Now, if these people are coming from PDP, so are you telling me that if PDP now has 1 governor or 2 governors, they still have a chance? But what I will say to them is that they need to fix their home. Because we see a lot of people living, and most of them complain. Like Peter Mba, he said he wasn't treated well while he was at the PDP. So PDP, what are they doing that is wrong? My fear is that I really do not want us to go to a one-party system, because at the end of the day, it's democracy. We need opposition. Without opposition, I don't know how it's going to be. People are not just going to go to the ballot and, it's only APC they're going to vote for. We need a viable opposition. So if I was PDP, what I would do is that try to make my home right. Not saying that the people that are going can go, but why are they going? Why are they leaving? These are conversations that they should be
some are saying that they're leaving because of fear, Olamide. And then Bayelsa governor is on his 2nd term. Why is he defecting? That's his former governor. Former governor of Bayelsa State, asking that question, because some people are saying, it is quite understandable if you are defected because you are running for 2nd term. How much more? How about you who, you'll be rounding off, that tenure. So you're not going to come back legally. So why are you defecting? So it goes to show that there is more to it than meets the eye.
Absolutely. Earlier on, I used the metaphor of hemoglobin, right? Everybody rushing to where they believe is life or where they believe the political bloodstream is. But I will say this, whether or not I can't say their motivations for defecting, but I will say this, it's very important that the PDP takes this as democratic feedback. The people that are leaving are outrightly saying, we don't like the way this party is being done. We don't like the way things are running, and it makes it easy for us to leave. But what the governors will now struggle with is that they are now moving to APC. They are no longer standalone governors just representing their states. They are now coming under the APC banner, and they will have to deliver under this good governance narrative that they are pushing for us. I saw a headline that said there are one-party state fears. There are many, many fears and challenges that will come if we eventually, hopefully not, get into a one-party state. Checks and balances will be compromised. It will be harder to focus on transparency and holding people accountable, because people are going to focus on the ruling party and not the policies that are being put in place. I'm curious to see how this will play out, honestly, but I really hope that the PDP does take this as democratic feedback.
Quickly, to what she's saying, because we know that Diri, since 2020, he has ruled under PDP, and now you were saying something that, why is he leaving when he knows he's not going to, he's not coming back again? Now that takes you to, they have other motives. So even though, he's not going to be governor again, political security. And that's why we always say that, are they leaving for their people or they're leaving for them? Exactly.
Out of power. But then, Etoma, if you look at the Punch newspaper, especially the rider, it says Atiku will be kicked as Tinubu tightens grip on South with governor's defections. Now, APC is allegedly, or is said to be awaiting the arrival or the acceptance of Diri, Alex Oti of Abia State, Abubakar, that's Taraba, Muftuang, that's Plateau State. So meaning that there is still more to come.
Oh yes, and if tomorrow we come here and we have those 3 governors you've just mentioned on the headlines, I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised.
Unfortunately, Chief Bode just said he was surprised because Mba's defection actually met him with this very huge surprise. Because they spoke with him, they said, do not worry, we'll resolve this issue. What you are actually asking for, we have our convention, round the corner. We'll definitely give it to you. But then he still went ahead to defect. Oh, yes, so you are not surprised, but others are.
That's because Mba had made up his mind before PDP came together to go talk to him. The major problem with PDP is internal democracy. Some people are flexing muscles when it shouldn't be. And the party has a constitution. Just go by the constitution. If for any reason the Constitution cannot solve the problem, then use the principle of necessity.
Yeah.
We are all
the doctrine of necessity.
Doctrine of necessity. We are all mature people in one party or the other. No particular problem should be so big that we cannot take care of. So PDP is actually suffering from a hemorrhage that it costs itself.
So
And it's just unfortunate.
Right. So you said a little earlier, if you look at the Hope newspaper, saying that Ben Murray Bruce also joined straight, as we discussed in the governors. We're also having people, from on the ground also joining, apart from the structures that have been collapsed. Ben Murray Bruce too is also how do I describe it?
A PDP stalwart.
Is a PDP stalwart. No,
and
moving
has been for the longest
with
time.
all the common sense, with everything, collapsing them into the ruling party. And he is not just defecting. He actually gave his reasons that, listen, it is visible to the blind that this administration is working. We are just celebrating 18.02% of what's called inflation. Just a few days ago, it's 20.01. This is huge.
And I'm not going to lie, his defection actually surprised me because I know that he's a very strong hold in PDP. I didn't see that particular one coming. But also hearing the reasons why he is going to the APC. We are not going to sit on this table and lie that the fact that we're not seeing that something good is happening in the economy. A lot of things in terms of infrastructure, roads, hospitals and all of that. But then again, the only thing I love to say is that I just hope that it's truly because of these things. Because someone said something on social media yesterday. They said, even though we know that the PDP house is shaking and they're not doing so well, some of these people are still living not because of PDP, but because of themselves. So we blame a lot of things on PDP. But some of these people are even still going, whether PDP does well or not, they just want to go with the ruling party because they want political security.
Governor Diri said the reason they are running from PDP is because they are running from their mess. You're not asking him, where is the mess? What is the mess? Who made the mess?
They created themselves.
I'm not sure that it's more about running from PDP as opposed to aligning with the APC. I'll leave you with this. Protection, patronage, proximity to power, and finally, political oxygen. I can't say more than that.
Especially protection. Because for a governor that is not coming back again.
All right then, Nigeria News Direct. Inflation rate eases to 18.02% in September as CPPA warns cost of living crisis remains acute despite drop. But in reality, the price of food is actually coming down. If you look at the price of ewa, that's beans, look at the price of pepper, tomatoes, etc., they're actually coming down as against what they used to be. But 18.02%, that's the last time we had that was in 2022. Who was in power then? Buhari. So Tinubu met it at a certain point, about 20 or thereabout, took it up, and then it now took it down beyond where his predecessor actually, left off. So
from all indications, it's going to go down some more. It's going to go down way more. It's going to go down some more. In 2003, December 2003, it was 28.92%. And that's where he met it.
Look at it. It's even more than a parabola.
Yes, and then after the announcement of the removal of subsidy, it went very high, And some economic jingoism that, by the grace of God, we're going to get the explanation later on in the show. Happened, and the thing is going down to 18%. The last time we had to talk about this thing, I asked a question. I said, is it possible for our inflation rate to go down to single digits? In fact, I think I mentioned 4% or so. It's going to be magic. But from the way it is happening, maybe.
And it's going to affect the price of dollar.
And I'm optimistic about maybe, because I'll tell you what, in as much as all the time we speak about the fact that the prices are going down, we want it to get to a certain point that it will be very low. I'm a lady, I go to the market. Yes, I understand that the prices are going down, but it can still get down. I'm Oliver Twist. I like to ask for more. And oftentimes we speak about inflation. A lot of people do not even understand it. They just want to go to the market and get things at a lower price. So we see what the government is doing. We appreciate it. But the single digits is what we are aiming for. And I'm happy that we're going to speak about it later on the show to go in depth into it for people to even understand what it is. Because trust me, a lot of people do not even get what inflation. They're like, what are these people speaking about?
Olamide, when you see something going that high, the removal of fuel subsidy, people criticized. But it's so sad that energy of criticism, people are not using it to also, talk about the you know, the drop in the inflation, the rise of inflation, which is the lowest.
The reason for that, and you know, Ria, like you rightly said, you know, it's because of we're not feeling it in our stomachs. Directly. The metrics that the people...
Your stomachs are not rumbling.
Yes. The metrics that Nigerians have to understand whether inflation is going up or down is their quality of life. Yeah. They don't have the same metrics that data analysts have, that newspapers have, that reportage has, that the presidency and the economists of this country has. We have the metric of the food on our plate. We have the metric.
Food prices are not as high as they used to be.
But they're still high, but not as high as they used to be.
But then, compared to where we were a few months ago.
Can I land? Yes. Absolutely. So the issue will now be the government, aside from we're seeing it in our pockets, you know, incrementally it's going down. The issue will now be the government keeping us in the loop. I want to see the government communicating with us better. I want to see the state house press releases on the price of yam. They need to educate us better, because this tension that we have online, with us constantly criticizing the government because of our stomach infrastructure, it would be made a lot better with the way that it related to us and make these metrics understandable for us.
But you know, so far,
no, because of time.
So far, I think that they've been communicating, but not even about the communication. We want to see it go to single digits. I think that is what I'm protesting for.
Most definitely.
And we can't wait. We don't want to wait a long time.
Yeah, we need to talk to the subnationals. We'll talk about the governors, talk about everyone. Really get their hands on the deck.
Make the metrics easier for us to understand.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. Fuel price climbs to 1,000 naira as queues resurface. And then if you look at some of the key reasons, supply glitches at Dangote refinery, depot and wholesale price hikes, retail adjustment by NNPC and others, those who are keen, taking this opportunity, broader logistics and market dynamics, etc., etc. But everything started from when Nupeng, took that sinister initiative to sabotage the Nigeria's economy. Now, marketers, NNPC, and some other depots, and even some filling stations are now increasing the fuel price unjustifiably. You
know, the funny thing is that the same day we announced that our inflation rate has gone down to 18% is the same day we are announcing that the pump price of PMS is 1,000. It is a paradox, and this is one of the reasons why the average Nigerian will wonder, what are you talking about inflation rate? I'm buying this thing for 1,000 naira. Transportation
when I mentioned sinister, someone doing, was it Nupeng that I mentioned or Pengasen?
You said Nupeng.
No, it's actually Pengasen.
Pengasen. Yesterday I was...
They are all best anyway, but then...
Once again, we've been Pengasen.
It's Pengasen.
Yes, Pengasen. Yesterday I was really angry with them when the question came, because the truth about it is that if that strike had not happened,
nothing like this,
we wouldn't be hearing this. We wouldn't be hearing this. So I'm going to ask Mr. President of Pengasen again, are you happy now?
And I'm just hoping that something is done, and done very fast, because how many people can afford to, put fuel in their cars, even to fill your tank right now, knowing that it's 1,000 naira per litre? Where are we supposed to get those kind of monies from? So I feel like it's something that they need to look into, and not just look into very fast.
So if you also look at the Daily Trust, the courts, quashing the suspension of political gatherings, I think in Kaduna and one other northern state, where they were supposed to go out to, do their political rallies, and then they were saying, no, it is not possible for you to gather politically, you start in early election. But then the courts say no. Now they are free to do what they have to do.
Absolutely. It's completely undemocratic to even suggest that in the first place, that they can't have political gatherings. On the other hand, they could have some intel that we don't have about the nature of these gatherings, the possible challenges they could face, the possible outcomes of this, whether that could relate to violence. We also have to put the region into account. I believe it's Kaduna State, right? Where, Kaduna?
Yeah, Kaduna and one other state.
Exactly. We have to put the region. That is a region that is usually rife, used to be, it's better now, rife with insecurity. They have intel that we don't have, and I believe that.
All right then. Last but not least is Diri confesses Osimhen out of this world, or let me say it properly, Osimhen out of this world.
Osimhen out of this world. Let me say something, because I love football a bit, not really, but I love football a bit. And
because you were able to.
I don't want to compare Osimhen to Messi, because people are going to kill me on this set. But then again, I want to say that I think Osimhen is our Messi in Africa. Safe to say, I think he's our Messi in Africa.
I love that. I love that.
Honestly,
it's quite poetic.
Osimhen, from the few matches I've watched him play, is a very hard worker. And he goes into the field with one thing in mind: I must score a goal. And when you have that kind of mindset, it works for you.
No, it is one thing for you to have a mindset, is another thing for you to have a skill.
His
I want us to put
mindset.
into context the fact that Osimhen used to hug gala and clean gutters.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
oh yes.
And so this is a beautiful grass to grace story.
That's the great story.
I'll give you his phone number. You want it?
I already have it. Something that's in my
then.
phone.
All right then, that's about it for the newspapers up for review. Still to come on TVC Breakfast.